You're listening to KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine.
The opinions and views expressed in this program do not reflect those of KUCI, its management, or the UC Board of Regents. To find out more about this talk show or other talk shows broadcasting on KUCI, log on to our website at kuci.org or check out the latest program guide.
This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at Theater 40 for the U.S. premiere engagement of Norm Foster's Renovations for Six. Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
Hi, my name is Howard Storm, and I directed this wonderful play, Renovations for Six.
So, question. I know you. I loved you from Mork and Mindy. I loved all your sitcoms and all that. Why did you want to do this play? Because you're such a. I'm sure you can do anything you want. Why did you want to do this play?
Well, because it was written by Norm Foster, who is a wonderful playwright. I've done 2 of his plays before, and this play to me was a challenge. Of all 3 plays I've done, this one was not easy. Blocking it, figuring out how to make those things work with 6 people on stage, not relating to each other. And so it was a challenge and fun one, finally.
Yeah, I love the way you did that, because, again, there were times when all 6 players would be coming on, and they were supposed to be in, well, I guess I'm not giving away the play, where the 6 players were supposed to be in six different spaces and all that, yeah. But you guys played so wonderfully. So as a director, for blocking-wise, you did a fantastic job.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And, I allow the actors to block as much as they want to, and then I'll just tweak it, because their instincts, for me, works. If you're playing the role, you get a feeling you want to walk cross stage, then, do that. And then I say, that's fine, only don't go that far, and so forth.
Also, a big part of a director's job is casting. What do you look for in your casting?
Well, I look for an actor that's not going to just give me a reading at the casting, but is going to develop into the character. You can read very well at casting. Radio actors read beautifully, but that doesn't mean they can do a play. And so I look to see that someone to give me the full sense of the play, and understand the play, which they all obviously did.
First of all, again, I loved all the sitcoms you did. This one, I love the timing, the comic timing you did. And me, I love dramatic plays. I love soul-crushing plays. I love this play. I think you just did a fantastic job in the talking, in the voice, in the comic timing and all that. Yeah. And also the actors. The actors you chose were just fantastic. Yeah.
They were, and that's the whole trick. Casting is what it's all about. You get wonderful actors, and they make you look good.
Well, I think you're being modest, because obviously you were in so many great sitcoms, and it was kind of like a sitcom, kind of a little dark, though, kind of a little intense, but again, still basically that's what you'd expect, a very funny sitcom. That's what this was.
Well, I don't know. I don't think it was. I thought of it as a very funny play with a big twist at the end that everybody's shocked by, that comes as a big surprise.
I agree. One last question. If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
6 wonderful actors playing the characters beautifully and bringing the play to life.
I agree. I enjoyed it a lot. Norm Foster, I'm very familiar with his plays. Yeah. Always fascinated by it, because, again, that's not the type of plays I go to. But I just love his work.
Yes.
I love the plays tonight. I love the actors you chose. They were fantastic also.
Thank you. I got lucky with the cast. When you cast properly, then your job is almost 75% done.
Well, once again, thank you very much for being on the show. And once again, I love the performance.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
David Hunt Stafford. Well, I just want to say how much we appreciate you coming to see the production and all of our productions here at Theater 40. This is a wonderful American premiere of a play called Renovations for Six by the great Norm Foster. He's considered the Neil Simon of Canada. He's got about 50 or 60 of these wonderful plays. We've done 5 of them. This is an American premiere, as I said. It's a lot of fun, a lot of laughs. but some touching poignancy in the play also. And we appreciate you coming down. I'm sure all of your listeners would enjoy the heck out of it. So we hope all your listeners will come down and see it.
Great. And which character do you play?
I play Wing Falterman. He's a furniture salesman, 18 years. My wife is trying to get me to go back on the road as a dancer, but I'm trying to hang on to my job, and she's trying to engineer my getting fired. And so I'm all through the play. I'm worried about I'm going to get fired from my job, and it's a lot of fun, a lot of laughs in the show.
I love the interesting characters. I mean, they're not caricatures, but they're all diverse. They represent various stages of marriage, but also very, very great comic timing between you guys and all that.
Yeah, well, we have a great director, Howard Storm, who's got a lot of experience with comedy, and we worked very hard on it to get the timing down and to get it fine-tuned, and we're real proud of what it looks like right now, and I think the audience is enjoying the heck out of it.
Oh, great. If my viewers do decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Comedy with some touching moments also. There's a serious undertone to the play, but there are a lot of hearty laughs in the play. And it's a play that's never been done in America. This is the American premiere of this play by Norm Foster. So what they will expect to see is a wonderful play, and they should expect to have a very good time.
Yeah, well, I love the piece also. First of all, I love the acting. It wouldn't be the same play without the actors. They were charming, they were witty, they were spontaneous, they connected with the audience well. When I went into it, I knew I would kind of enjoy it, but I like soul-crushing plays. I like, when people die, I love those things. But this play, at the end of it, I just loved the piece. It tied together so beautifully, had a deep message behind it, and it was more than I expected.
Yes, it's Norm Foster's a very talented, very prolific playwright out of Canada, and this is, as I said, was one of his newest plays, but it's really loaded with heart and pathos and comedy, and it's very touching and very, very funny. So we're proud to present it, and we're very grateful to Norm for giving it to us.
Once again, love the performance. I loved your performance also.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for being on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with...
I'm Martin Thompson.
Great. Can I get either a brief bio of you, an introduction, or just anything you want to say?
Sure. I started acting in New York, and now I'm here in L.A., and I'm doing this show here at Theater 40.
Great. And which character do you play tonight?
I play Maurice. He's married to Veronica. Maurice wants to be an artist. He wants to be a writer, so he quit his lucrative job as an engineer, and his wife is having to support both of them, and she resents that.
I love the performance, and actually, for some strange reason, I really loved your character. Usually I love villains. I love people real complicated. Your character, I don't know, it was very charming, very eloquent, flowed very well with the play and all that, but at the same time, there was this bombshell in it. It showed that he was actually going through something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, all the characters in the show are going through something that eventually comes out. But you don't expect the bombshell from Maurice and Veronica in this show. So it's fun. Yeah.
If my viewers decide to come and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Well, you should expect to see a very funny show with some wonderful comedy by Norm Foster, and 6 actors who are at the top of their game and having a good time on stage.
I agree. Basically, the director again, Howard. He actually did a lot of sitcoms, so it's kind of like that where the whole play would be about people talking, but talking about these issues. Because if you look at this play, it talked about philosophy, it talked about psychology, it talked a little bit about dysfunction between families and all that. And again, even though it's talked about all that stuff, I can identify with a lot of it. Because, I'm married myself, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we've all been there, done that. Yeah. And, this is full of, relationship things that every relationship goes through at some point. And what's interesting about this play is we've got 3 different couples at 3 different ages going through 3 different issues that all relationships go through. And so we can laugh at that because we've been there, done that, you know?
Yeah, I'm actually surprised I like this so much because I'm the type of guy who likes soul-crushing plays. You know, complex villains, complex characters. These were about wholesome people. Well, yeah, they're about wholesome people. It was about normal family life, but it was very witty, very intellectual, great comic timing too, and the actors themselves, you in particular, I just loved your performance.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thanks for coming. We really enjoyed having you.
Right, well, thank you very much for being on the show.
You're very welcome. Thanks so much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
I'm Mona Lee Wild. Well, we're here playing at Theater 40 in this wonderful Norm Foster play called Renovations for Six.
Great, and which character did you play?
I play Veronica Dunduday.
What's your take on Veronica?
Oh, she's pretty much just very professional. She's, just real hard-nosed professional and thinks she's better than everyone, of course.
Well, I love the performance tonight. But basically, if my viewers decide come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Just a lot of laughs and fun time, I hope.
I actually thought it was... Well, first of all, it was kind of like it was a comedy.
Yes.
Was it a dark comedy? Kind of yes, kind of no.
Well, tonight we went a little dark. I noticed places got darker than they usually would. But, it's a whole mix of things. But hopefully we get you laughing. It's fun.
Well, first of all, I was fascinated by the banter. I thought it was very witty, very intellectual. It was philosophical, psychological at the same time.
Yes, it was.
I personally identified with a lot of it, because I'm married, and I had, you always have interpersonal problems. As a man, you always have insecurity. So it covered so much stuff about the human condition.
Yes, it did. It does. It absolutely does. From all ranges too, of the young to the older couple. Yes, to the crazy ditzo, that Gail's played. Yes.
I also love the acting. Particularly loved your acting because again, you were very sophisticated, but at the same time very broken. You know what I mean? I mean, very, very, very confident, very strong, very, very almost like a leader, but at the same time covering, shrouding over a deep hurt that I guess made you stronger. You know what I mean? It was kind of like a facade. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Precisely. Good for you. You got it.
Well, I love your performance. I love the performance tonight too. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Rebecca Driscoll. I'm excited to be here. I'm glad that you came, and I hope you enjoyed the show.
Great. And which character did you play tonight?
I played Shayna Perkins. I think that she is strong. Most people would probably assume that she's ditzy or, maybe a little strange, but she's actually a very strong woman, and I think it sends a good message.
Yeah, actually, I noticed all the women were strong women. It's kind of like in the family, they weren't like these housewives. Even though some of them weren't working, a couple of them weren't working. They actually, again, were dominant forces. Sometimes the men would call them insensitive because they were so dominant, you know what I mean? But again, that's part of being a strong character.
Yes, I think Norm Foster particularly is great at accessing that. He's really good at writing for women. It's wonderful to have a male writing for women that can actually access that voice.
Great. If my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
They should expect to have fun, maybe cry, maybe laugh, hopefully both.
I actually love the diversity of the actors. Basically, the characters, some were extremely sophisticated, some were down to earth, some were kind of shy, some were kind of bold and all that. Very lovely mix of characters.
Yeah, absolutely. I think all of us as individuals really provide a lot, and we help to fortify this play. We all have different relationships, and I think it makes for a really dynamic show.
Yeah, and actually the comedy between them, because even though they're such diverse people, they interplayed with each other. I guess it kind of reflects a bit about the family dynamics they have in regard to that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think that the good thing is everyone can relate. Everyone in the audience, no matter their creed, no matter their religion, no matter their age, they can all relate to this story.
Well, I love the performance. I love your performance tonight also. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in in Irvine, and I'm here with
Lane Compton. I'm playing Grant Perkins. As Gail was just saying, it's a story of three different couples, all at different stages in life. But the, I think, beauty that he's written in there is that all couples are still dealing with the same things. At any point, you're always in renovations with your life, which is the title of the piece, Renovations for Six. And that's, I think, worked in here. We're all working on our relationships. At any stage you're in, I think everybody's doing that, and I think that's why it's extremely relatable as a piece.
Great. And which character do you play tonight?
I play Grant Perkins. Grant has reached a new stage in his life. He's very excited to have the opportunity he's always wanted. He's working his way up, doing his best, and he's just relocated, he and his wife, hoping for new and better things, and he's the type of guy that will sacrifice anything to do that. He wants the very best for himself, and he's doing the best he can to get him and his family in that direction.
Very complicated character, not what he seems to be, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So again, I think you guys you played it fantastically. But if my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Well, they're going to see a lot of laughs. It's just a very relatable piece. I think you're going to find yourself seeing yourself up there, and I think that's where the beauty of comedy is you can see yourself in just about any one of these characters, and you're going to see some things you didn't expect. A couple curveballs are going to come your way, and I hope that it keeps you on the edge of your seat.
Well, I love the piece, and again, because it was a comedy, great comic timing, connected with the audience very well, very dynamic characters, very diverse characters too. I love the performance you guys did.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming.
Great. And thank you very much for being on the show.
You're very welcome.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with...
I'm Gail Johnston. Well, I'm delighted to be doing this play. I've done 3 Norm Foster plays here, and they're just great. This was the most difficult.
Great. And which character you play tonight?
Billy. She's an ex-chorus girl. She says what she wants, does what she wants, says it exactly the way it should be, and is really a nice person.
I love the characters. Whether they're like ditzy characters, whether they're like sweet, innocent characters, or whether they're overbearing, or just insensitive, micey characters. It was just such a diverse mix. I just loved it.
This play is just wonderful because we're all entirely different. We're just having the best time. This was very difficult to do because we overlap each other, and we have to come in over somebody, and they're back and forth, but it's just been great. And my character, she's a lot of fun because she is the spokesperson of the group. She tells it like it is and doesn't take any crap.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
They should check the theater out. I don't know if they've been to Theater 40, but it's like a tiny taper. This is not a black box theater. This is a tiny taper, and the production is superb, and it wins all these awards, this theater, Theater 40.
I love the performance tonight because basically it's so identifiable because I'm married. It talks about family lives. It talks about these characters that they seem like either your father or your uncle or your brother or something like that.
There are 3 stages of life. There's young, middle, and old, or older. I never say old, but older.
Yeah. Well, I love the performance tonight. I loved your performance also. Everyone, their timing was fantastic. It was hilarious because of that and all that. The accents, the culture, just the very message. I loved it.
Thank you so much. Please come to see our play. We think it's really great. Norm Foster is considered the Neil Simon of Canada, by the way.
That's right.
Wrote this.
Once again, I loved your performance. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Renovations for Six will be playing at Theater 40 from July 18th to August 18th. For more information, go to www.theater40.org. This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at Atwater Village Theater for the Open Fist Theater presentation of Dancing at Lunasa. Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Barbara Schofield. I'm the director of this play, Dancing at Lunasa.
Great. So, question, why do you guys decide to do this play?
Oh, God. Well, we've been doing a lot of political work for the last couple of years, which has been lovely, and we're really committed to it. We really believe in it. But I think everybody's soul had kind of burned out a little on all the Sturm und Drang, right? And there was so much... Everybody has so much invested in the political world these days, and it's exhausting. And we wanted to do something that was just beautiful and that was romantic, but it was also about struggle, but maybe struggles that are more fundamental than just who's up and who's down in the polls and the politics of the day. That, that beautiful struggle between the desire in us for something passionate and something beautiful and something not of the head, something of the body and something of the heart, and get out of our heads for a while. And this play is so perfect for that because it is about control. It's about, the whole structure of religion in Ireland and the sort of control mechanism that it has on people's fundamental urges to be wild and free and pagan. Not that one is better than the other, but it's a struggle, always, right? And so we're pulled towards something that feeds something else in us that we're not supposed to acknowledge. And sometimes it's love, sometimes it's passion, sometimes it's sex, sometimes it's wild dancing, something that isn't controlled by the mind all the time. And I think we're all feeling really controlled by the mind these days, What are we going to do about this? What do we think about that? Who's right, who's wrong? And we just wanted to do some art where the language was beautiful and the acting could be beautiful and the truth could be fundamental, beyond political parties fundamental. So, yeah, that's why we chose to do it. Yeah.
Great. If my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Oh my God, they should expect to see just what I was talking about. They should expect to come and feel something, which is unusual in film, television, theater, right? They should come and expect to be moved, see wonderful acting, a brilliant script by Brian Friel, a culture, a historical period, really exceptional, I think a really exceptional interaction with art in the art at its best in small theater. At least I think it's at its best in small theater, where you can be moved by something. It doesn't leave you unmoved because it's 100 yards away or a football field away. It's right there, and the exchange that goes on between the audience and the stage is really amazing. Everybody's moved at the same time. The actors, the audience, everybody is moved. And to go away feeling something, so your heart is alive, is a gift. So we do every night when we leave the show, because it touches us so deeply. So that's what they should come and experience. Yeah.
Great. Okay, now, for a director, 80% of a director's job is casting. Well, what do you look for in your casting?
Well, 80% of the director's job is casting. It's a myth. It's a myth produced by... It's promoted by usually people who work in film and TV and have a lot of other people doing all the rest of the work for them. I would say in the casting, which is very important, that's not to minimize how important the casting is, but stage actors, if they're good, right, can transform with the script as the script transforms in the process of the rehearsal. And I'm looking for actors who are sometimes intelligent intellectually, sometimes intelligent emotionally, hopefully both. Actors that are flexible, actors that have passion, actors that can speak, because a lot of this is language. Actors that can, that can sense timing, that can take a note with grace, and who are not afraid to take risks. Those are primary things, really primary things, and that they're really passionate about doing this kind of art, because it's a very special kind of art, and it takes a lot of skills that nothing else really requires. You have to really be full of magic to be a great theater performer. So I look for that. And I was really lucky with this cast because they were all full of magic. So.
Well, I thought you did a fantastic job in the casting because basically it's not the type of tragedy where the script will actually dictate the acting, where everyone just dies so you know what to do. No, you're transporting to another time, another place. You're trying to illustrate, the depression going on. You're trying to show a family in need, but all families are in need. But you want to show this family and this need and all that. So I thought they all did it beautifully. They all highlighted all that wonderfully.
They did, and they're all very different, and they've all created very, very different characters. And they have a lovely ensemble. When you're watching them work, you go, oh yeah, nobody in this family is the same as anybody else, and yet they are obviously a family. And it reminds you that, like your family, everybody in the family is different, right? They interact different, they want different things, they have different dreams, they have different passions, they have different conflicts. But when you watch them interact, it's a family. And that that idea that the main character, that the narrator, Michael, is searching for is he's stuck in this summer when he was a child, his summer when his family fell apart. And he keeps going back to this, and he keeps going back to this. And you get to come in and watch him going back to that one more time, searching for a way to become part of that family again before it falls apart. And that's our concept of it anyway. And so when you're doing that, you realize his appreciation for the family that he had, and he didn't appreciate when he was a child, but also for the family that he lost. Now that he's an older man and he's alone in the world, he keeps wanting to go back and recapture what he had, but didn't appreciate as a child. And I think we all can share a bit of that feeling, especially if we've lost a lot of members of our family, and we look back on our lives and we go, oh, why didn't I appreciate it when I was a kid? Why was I just so eager to get away? Now I wish I could have them all back again. And the play is his attempt to do that. And it's, you can't go back again. You can't go back without knowing what you know about what is to come. And I think that's why you have that really interesting structure in this play that Brian Field did, where you have the scenes and you have the present talking to you, and you have the past that you view, and you have moments where the two interact. And there's the veil between the worlds is very thin, and the consciousness of the character can move back and forth. And he's bringing all the knowledge he has now, looking back in time, with him back into the past, which makes it all the more full of pathos, right? So, anyway.
Okay, well, I really enjoyed the play tonight. I really loved your direction. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much for the interview. Yes, please come back and see it again.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Martha Dempson. I'm the artistic director of the Open Fist Theater, and I have been for a long time.
Great, and which character did you play tonight?
I played Kate, the matriarch. She's like a Southern Baptist living in the South in 1936 with voodoo all around in the hills that's really, really scary, and she sees herself as the last bastion of safety and godfulness, if that's a word, against all of these invading forces.
Yeah, but I also see her also as a very very dedicated. I mean, I do anything for my family, but also, again, very, very traditional, you might say. Conservative, traditional, but I think that's more cultural than it is her nature. I mean, I think her nature is more of, just a hard-working person who basically just loves her family.
Yeah, she really loves all her sisters, and I think at that time she probably had a lot to do with raising each one of them. So in a way, she's a sister, but she's also a mother, and she'll be really hard on them, but she'll also work, she'll die for them, and she'll protect them at all costs.
Great. If my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
I think they should expect to see an interesting story of a family that is struggling to hold together and love each other in spite of all hardships and obstacles.
Yeah, it's also very Irish in a sense. I was once told that Irish food is very simple. It's like potatoes and beef, but actually the Irish people are supposed to be the most well-fed. Yeah. Because again, it's very simple food. It's like fish from the river, rabbit, or just beef and all that. So basically, it's very ironic the way that is. So in a sense, and also the Irish people, they were actually considered almost like the Negroes of Europe, where people look down at the Irish. Yeah. They were they were like the policemen, the firemen. That's the only jobs they can get. So basically, they had a very hard life, and this just reflects their hard life.
That's true, but in addition in this play, we're 1936, so these women, they would have had great hopes of getting married, but then the First World War came along and all the men left and a generation was lost, and then there were 2 famines, and so a staggering percentage emigrated. So now you have this family without parents and without a brother living alone without any prospects. And so while the Irish may be well fed, and these women obviously eat, they're eating very simple food, the eggs that they have from their hens, soda bread, the few vegetables that grow. So it's, I think it's a hard time, but they approach it with joy and they approach it with gratitude.
Yeah, and they make it work. It's just a hard life is what it is, because they got a house, right? It's not like they're dying of malnutrition. Right. It's not like, the bank's going to take everything. So again, it just shows the hard work they had in the old days. Now, again, there were tragedies going on in there, and this beautifully reflected it. Basically you felt for, I guess, the women because a woman without a husband back in the old days, what did they do with it if you didn't have a husband? You just went to the old folks' home, or you just went to
you were a teacher, or you were a knitter. You were a cleaning person. There were some jobs that you could hold, but they were associated with spinsters, and they were second-class citizens.
But I love the way they handled it, because they suffered through it and they stayed together as a family. Because they didn't have to do that. They could have become prostitutes. They could have just left for America with everyone else. But they didn't. So I like the way they faced their lives. So I thought it was a beautiful play, and I thought it was very well done.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you once again for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with
Scott Roberts. We're doing Dancing at Lunasa, and it's a great emotional Irish play, and it's definitely worth coming to check out. That's what I would say.
Great. And which character do you play?
I play Jerry, the Welshman, who comes and is sort of the romantic guy who tries to come back and reconcile with one of the Irish daughters. Jerry's a wanderer trying to make sense of his life and trying to find the worth in it and trying to redeem himself, and sort of caught between worlds, I would say.
I really liked your take on Jerry. First of all, he was very charming. He was very charismatic, but at the same time, he was kind of like, I'm not sure if he was just ill fit for the world. He was, I don't know what it was, but he just couldn't seem to, be a success, you know what I mean? And I'm not sure if it's just the country he was living in, the small town he was from. Maybe he was just a big dreamer who couldn't find anyone to support him. You know what I mean?
For sure, I'm a dreamer who, does get caught between worlds, and, I live in the moment for everything that sort of comes up and try to enjoy that, because I can't really make sense of the real world. And, I think it's the 30s, employment's tough, there's not a lot of money, and I want to do something that brings me joy, and it's so difficult to find. And I think I'm constantly moving and searching, and I think that archetype of a dreamer in Irish folklore is sort of very strong. This idea of the drifter and the dreamer, it's very much part of that Irish tradition. So even though I'm a Welshman, it's definitely woven into this play by Brian Friel.
So if my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
They should expect to see a very Irish play that's funny but tragic, and I think it's about the struggles of not only this time but of women, and of trying to find your place in the world. And I think it's a very emotional sort of memory play, but it's got sort of wonderful elements of kitchen sink realism, but also sort of this abstract sort of memory that you go on a ride of the youngest son remembering growing up in the 30s with his mother and the 5 aunts, and the difficulties of that, but also the joys of it. And I think that's what is the heart of this play.
I agree in the sense it's a tragedy, but it's not a tragedy like a Shakespearean tragedy where everyone dies at the end. Right, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it is a tragedy. And this one, I actually think it has something to do with the Irish Catholic. It's like, to be a good Catholic, you have to suffer. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. God is. You're depending upon the graces of God. Your family also suffers, so you suffer with them.
Right.
But they probably had good times. But again, as an Irish Catholic, he probably remembered, no, these are the bad times are the most precious to me, because that's when God helped me. That's when my family helped me, and that's when we were the happiest. I don't know why, but when we were suffering, we were the happiest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and for sure. I mean, even when everything around them is crumbling, when society is shunning them, when there's no money, when there's nothing, all they have is each other, and then when that dissolves, that's really the heartbreak of the play. That kind of breaks, because it's really the outer forces of the world that rip that apart. And in some ways, and I won't give away all that happens, but when the sisters, something happens and they sort of sacrifice for the greater good, for the family. And again, I think there's something very Irish in that, and very proud in that. And there's so much that's Irish in this play, that the music and the dancing and the joy and the heartbreak. So I think that's what makes it such a moving experience.
Well, I really enjoyed myself tonight. Plus, I really liked your character, because I love anti-heroes. I think they're more complicated. I think there's more. Your character was he was a real leading man. He was really charming, real charismatic. I would have bought a radio from this guy. But the thing about it also, he was realistic. He was like, he just couldn't. It was like the Great Depression. He couldn't get work. He couldn't sell things. And again, he suffered because of that. And he had to give up at times. He had to be a jerk sometimes. He had to be a loser sometimes. But again, it was just very real.
Yeah, I mean that's. I'm glad you got all that. Yeah, I mean that's. I think that the heart of it is that, this mercurial kind of character that is constantly trying to change and fit in and have value and to have worth and I think that's sort of the ride that you go on with Jerry. So it's a great role.
Yeah, plus also it was you who controlled the character. In a sense, it was like, okay, I'm a loser, so I'm going to become a loser. I'm, basically, I'm being shunned, so I'll be a person who's shunned. No, I'm still Jerry. This is me. Look at me. I'm Jerry.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, you're always on the side of your character. I mean, I think when I read this initially, it seems like, oh, he's just sort of, a gigolo and kind of a little loose. But I think the other side of that is, there is something that he's really searching for and really wants, and I think that's what sort of drives him. Even though he kind of gets a little playful and kind of loses his way, he still sort of he wants to find meaning, and even though he sort of ends up in some strange circumstances sometimes, I think that's the heart of him,
Once again, love the way you played it. I really enjoyed myself in the performance.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you very much for being on the show.
All right. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Lane Allison. I love this show. I really hope lots of people come out and see it because it's a wonderful classic, and I think we do a lovely new take on it. And please come out to the Open Fist.
Great. And which character do you play?
I played Maggie. Maggie, as Michael says at the top of the show, she's kind of the joker of the family, the clown, but she's also, I think, a big part of the heart of the household, and she loves to make people laugh, but she also feels things very deeply and cares for every single one of her family members deeply.
Basically, you need a little humor in the family, and you always have, even if the sky is falling down, you always have one person in the family just wisecracking, just being a clown, you know what I mean?
True, very, very true. I think that's true in every family, and I'm really, really honored to get the chance to play Maggie and to have Barbara direct this piece in the way that she has. Her vision has been incredible.
Great, and my viewers decided to come out and see this piece. What should they expect to see?
They should expect to see a lot of heart, a lot of fun. They should expect to maybe get a few tears going for themselves at different times, but then very quickly followed again by laughter. And I think that, when you come out, you're also going to see some brilliant acting and directed by a brilliant director.
I agree. I was really blown away by the acting because this piece is a tragedy, but it's not a tragedy like everyone dies at the end. And those are actually very easy to do because if everyone dies, you just go with it. Just start crying, just do a death scene. But again, when basically you're dealing with poverty, day by day, drip by drip, rolling a boulder up the hill and having it fall down, then that's kind of hard. And you guys did it beautifully.
Oh, thank you so much. That's so lovely to hear. We really appreciate you coming and supporting us. You're always here at the Fist, and we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, once again, love the performance. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Of course. Thank you for having us.
Great, and I really love your performance today.
Thank you. Thank you. Cheers.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Christopher Capiello. Well, we just opened Dancing at Lunasa at the Open Fist Theatre Company, and I'm playing Father Jack, who's been in Uganda for 25 years and returns to Donegal to his 5 unmarried sisters. I think Father Jack is looking for joy. He's looking for the joy in life, and he thought he found it in the Catholic Church, being a priest, being a missionary in Africa, and then he found greater joy, greater love in the local traditions in his village in Uganda, and that's what he brings back with him to Donegal. But I think it's all about looking for joy.
The old colonialists, they had this term going native, in which basically they would stop siding with the government and start embarking on the native traditions and all that. Right. Was that what he was doing? Was he tired of the stuffiness of the Catholic Church, the rituals, the hypocrisy, if you don't mind me saying, and then embracing the carefree nature of the people? Or what was it? What do you think he was doing?
Well, I think the play in general, I think Brian Freely is juxtaposing the pagan Celtic traditions of the Lunasa Festival and the African traditions with the more rigid, uptight Irish Catholic traditions of Donegal, and how those have held the sisters back. And Father Jack, as you said, missionaries, a lot of them were very cruel, very brutal to the people they were there to convert, supposedly. And Father Jack has taken the opposite tack. He has embraced those traditions and become part of the local community. He refers to that as home, when I go home to Uganda. So, I think you're right.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
I think you'll see a universal story of family, of longing, of yearning, of unfulfilled dreams, and of faith.
I saw basically, a very Catholic story where basically, again, it talked a lot about the suffering in a person's life. There's many happiness, but in a sense, the suffering was a nobility. It showed your love, your devotion to God and all that. It also showed, that you were a family person, that when family was going through problems, you were with them and all that. So basically, I saw it as an encapsulation of a person's life, but again, they remembered the tough times, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the sisters has a child out of wedlock, which at that time in Ireland, a lot of times they'd send that girl away, have her give birth, and then the baby would be in an orphanage or they would never see her again. But this family has embraced the child, and they're raising him with 5 unmarried sisters. They're kind of shunned by the community. We get the sense that the local priest doesn't approve. So they're very brave. I think they're very brave women and ahead of their time.
Agreed, because back then, again, to be a strong woman, again, you're not going to be president, you're not going to be like a senator or even a policeman or something like that. You're going to be going through a life like them, where, there's kind of like spinsters, where they have to basically fend for themselves. They have to support themselves. They have to be a community among themselves. So they were, in my opinion, back then, the typical strong women. You know what I mean?
They had to be, and they were very poor. Kate, one of them, is a school teacher. That's almost the only income in that household. And so, it was a very hard life they had, very hard. They had to be strong women.
Yeah, well, I really enjoyed the performance. I loved your performance. I love your wildness, your character, your goofiness, but at the same time, very believable, and also very, the audience actually felt for you too. That connected to it. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you. I'm glad it came off that way, because that's how I think he is. I think he is genuine. He's genuine in his love and his joy for life, and he wants to share that with his sisters. And there's almost an innocence about it. But I'm glad it came off that way, because that's what we're shooting for.
Okay. Well, once again, I love your performances. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you for being here.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Caroline Claydonis. I'm an actor, writer, and spoken word artist based out of LA, and I have a dog named Mike.
And which character do you play tonight?
I play Christina. Christina, she has an interesting journey where she kind of begins in this more immature place. She's the youngest sister. She's had a child out of wedlock, and she's brought a lot of shame on this Irish Catholic family. But her journey is really, I think, when she realizes that the fantasy of a man saving her from the situation is not what it's cracked up to be, and that she's actually able to stay strong and say no to that and choose ultimately her son and her family rather than that fantasy.
I agree. Basically, I really enjoyed your character because it was almost like your character had the most dramatic story inside here. Mm-hmm. Where, she, again, obviously, what happened to her before the story was the most dramatic. What happened to her afterwards, because she had to raise her son, was also very dramatic. But again, at the end, her son seemed to turn out okay.
Yes. I think that it's interesting. The only conversation I have with my son, I'm totally focused on his father. So, but at the end, I'm looking for him. So I really do think her attention shifts from the father to her son. And it is a dramatic shift, you're right. Yes.
If my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
You should expect to see people trying desperately to break free of the limitations that have been imposed by institutions and by their culture and by their circumstances, and having the courage to live anyway despite all of that.
I see basically I was going to say I see a broken family, but in a sense I don't see a broken family. They were happy, they were satisfied with their lives, for most of the period of time, and again, they managed to make it work.
So again, I do see poverty. This was happened during like the Great Depression and all that.
Yes.
So again, I do see that. But again, I do see a simple country family. And again, what are your thoughts on that?
I would think that they are very dissatisfied with their lives, all of them. But I do think that despite that, there's so much love and there is so much. They have an inner dance that they never that carries them through, and I think that's what's so beautiful about the dance that they all express outwardly is that that's what's going on. That's the inner life. Is this wild, passionate dance for life, dance with life, even though their circumstances are not at all what they want them to be.
Well, again, I really enjoyed the performance, and I really enjoyed your performance also.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm at KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. Now I'm here with
David Schaffner. I joined Open Fist at the end of last year in October. I'm thrilled to be a member, thrilled to work on this show, which was an amazing experience, and really looking forward to the whole run.
Great. And which character did you play?
I played Michael. My take on Michael, he's the young boy who's now grown up, and he has there's a lot of sadness in his life from the memories that he has, but there's also, I think, there's so much joy that he tries to experience because he believes. Brian Field wrote about these women. He called them the 5 brave Glentees women, because Glentees was the small town, not Ballybeg where this is set, but that's where Brian Field came from in Ireland. And he had a sister and 4 aunts, a mother and 4 aunts, just like this play. And so, to me, it's like this is a man who, even as hard as a lot of these experiences he talks about in this play are, it's absolutely the love and admiration that he has for these women and the hard lives that they led. That's what I take with me, like every night. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, first of all, I really enjoyed this piece. This piece is kind of a memory piece, so actually, these stories might not have been totally 100% true. They're probably exaggerated. They're probably colored to reflect him.
No, I do. I think that's actually a very good point. The way I look at it is like there's things he says that are sort of factually correct, and then there are things that are more subjective. And then the question is he ever unreliable narrator? I don't think it's supported in the text that he's unreliable, but I think it's one of those senses of, well, this is how I remember it. This is kind of how I remember it. Because you're right. I think there's times I've wondered when we were working on it, did this all happen quite this quickly? Because he does, it all seems to happen all at once within a 3-week period. And maybe it was spread out more, but this is how he remembers it. As you said, as a memory play, this is how he remembers the different people, the different relationships, the things that they said. And so, again, not that he's making it up or lying at any point, but that maybe some of it is a little bit, brought together, mashed together, and maybe not unreliable. And again, like I said, in a lying sort of way, but just in a way that it's like, well, this is how I remembered it, in a subjective way.
This is definitely a bit of a dark tragedy, but it wasn't really that much of a tragedy. It wasn't like, everyone died at the end, you know what I mean?
No.
But it was basically dealt with a lot of, how should I put it, a lot of family, a lot of dignity, a lot of order. So it wasn't like, like you're seeing a family just disintegrate apart, you know what I mean? It still shows a lot of bondage, it still shows a lot of hard work, it shows a lot of Catholic faith to it, you know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. I agree with that. And so what else were you asking? I'm sorry.
Well, basically, my viewers decided to come out and see this piece. What should they expect to see?
Oh, what should they expect to see? Well, a story about family, a story about sisters that had a hard time growing up poor in 1936 in Ireland, and that there's a lot of love, there's a lot of survival. They're not really to be pitied, these women, in many ways, because they are very strong, even though they've had hard experiences. Because you said it's not a tragedy like where everybody dies. It's a story that really there's a lot of love in it and a lot of strength. That's what I was getting at the beginning when I was talking about Brian Friel talking about his mother and his four aunts. That it was like, I don't know how much he pitied them as much as he truly just loved them so much and realized they were in patriarchal society. They had lots of issues, and yet they still survived. For the most part. Obviously, there's the story of the two sisters who did go off to London, but, 25 years later, but they did for a while. They went off on their own, which I think there's a weird admiration he might actually have for them. When he says the thing about Agnes being too notionate to work in a factory, he might be kind of proud of her for that. She kind of made her decisions. She wanted to do it. I don't think Michael understands it. That's the thing that I don't know in the play. I think he wants to understand it more because he never could talk to them. They just left. And that's a hard thing for a child to experience when two aunts that you had leave you. And so it's sort of what can people expect, you asked. It's like somebody trying to put his sort of memories together, if you will, for the audience in a way that this is how I remember it. And almost maybe in a weird way, having the audience help him, even though he doesn't actually, it's not interactive, but there's a certain sense of maybe him working it out as he's telling the story, trying to figure out what happened and who am I and who are these people.
Well, basically, I didn't come from a very, very rich family myself. My family were immigrants also. My mother was a seamstress who worked in a sewing factory. My father was a cook, and again, he wasn't a great father. He just wasn't a great father. So, when I look at my family, some people will say, "Oh, I'm so sorry." There's nothing wrong with my family. That's the way families were in the old days. Not everyone was rich. In fact, most people were poor. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like 90% of the country were not rich people. Yeah. So again, they were just hardworking people. All their kids, the kids went to college, and basically, I guess I'm doing okay. So again, that's what the story is about. It's a story it's not from America, but it's a story about hardworking, lower income people.
Exactly. I agree with that completely.
But once again, I really enjoyed the performance. I really enjoyed your performance also. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. Now I'm here with
Sandra Kate Burke. I'm from Hawaii, and I play Rosie in Open Fist production of Dancing at Lunasa. My take on Rosie is that she is ready for an adventure. She wants to have the life that she believes that she can have, just like her sister Chrissy has, and she wants to explore the world. She's very, very curious about outside and what's outside of Ballybeg.
Yeah, you played her a little autistic. I noticed that also.
Rosie is simple. She is the one of the sisters that's simple, so everyone is very protective of her.
Well, again, very challenging as an actor to play a character like that, because obviously you're not autistic and all that. I love the way you played that character.
Thank you. It's definitely something that you want to be very delicate with and take the time to make sure that you are doing the role justice in the right way.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
They should expect to see a beautiful story that has real elements that reminds you of life, because it has sadness, it has humor, and it's raw and it's real, and it's something that I feel like our audiences can resonate with.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it also. It reminded me about families, and again, no family's perfect, obviously. There's always a black sheep in the family and all that. Sometimes they're all black sheeps and all that. So again, I enjoyed this one. Plus, I think because it was a memory piece, the writer actually emphasized the bad parts of his life more than. Because I'm sure there were times when they had picnics, when they just swam in the lake and all that. But again, this was one of the emphasized because I think it was the most precious moments for him.
Yes, I agree with that. I think that this memory is about the play. I mean, his memories are the most crucial memories that changed his life. Like, this was the summer where his aunts went away and his uncle came home, and then, I don't want to give anything away to the audience, but those were the life-changing moments for him. So that's why he's telling us this story at this particular time.
Well, I really enjoyed myself tonight, and I really enjoyed your performance also. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with
Anne-Marie Wilding. I got my BFA in acting for the stage and screen from Azusa Pacific University. I enjoy doing a lot of Shakespeare in the Park, and I'm an Open Fist theater company member.
Great. And which character did you play tonight?
I play Agnes. Agnes needs a bigger fishbowl. it's the world is too small of Ballybeg, and she needs to go. She reads too many books. She she wants change. She wants something new so badly. She has to leave her entire family to get it.
I actually liked the way you played it. It was almost like there was a lot not being said. Like, did she have an affair with the leading man? I mean, you know what I mean? Because it was very subtle the way it looked like. And also, because she left in it, it seems like she was fine. It seems like she was just buried there. But she wasn't. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like you kind of bottled that up and you subtly showed it in various things. I just love the way you did that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't believe they actually had an affair, but I think definitely in her mind, he's someone that she loved, and I think she realizes that she wants what Chris has with Jerry, or something even better, a real relationship, you know. And so having those moments with Jerry, it's like another reason to leave, you know. It's not enough.
Yeah. If my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
If you should expect to see charm, hilarity, pain, and memories.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was very Irish, very maudlin. And again, if you listen to Irish music, you'll get what I mean by Irish. Sometimes it's very sad, but when you listen to music, that's beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the play was like it too. Sad, kind of tragic, but also very beautiful.
I think the Irish are the ones that coined the phrase "we laugh so as not to cry," and that's very iconic, I think, in terms of Irish writing, and especially this play. You know, there's these really sad moments, and all we can do is laugh afterwards, and that's what the characters do, is they find some reasons to laugh.
Okay, well, I really loved your performance tonight, and I really enjoyed the performance also as a whole. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Dancing at Lunasa will be playing at Atwater Village Theatre from July 12th to August 18th. For more information, go to www.openfist.org. This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at the Electric Lodge for their presentation of Gunshot Melody Part 1.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm on KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Mildred Marie Langford. This has been an amazing process. This is our second time doing the show, and I think this time around we definitely have found deeper meaning in the story. We found places to deepen the narrative, and I think that's been extremely powerful and has been resonating quite well with people, especially people who saw it last year and coming back and seeing it again and saying, "Oh my God, you know, that moment was so different for me this time around," and that was amazing. And so yeah.
And which character you play again?
I play Betty. I think Betty is a beautiful character. I think she's someone who is diligently trying to clean up the mess that has been going around. I think she's someone who is very determined and very committed and devoted to her task. And she wants to get the most of it done. So I think she's just someone who is just very determined and just very diligent and very, I think that describes her the best.
Yeah, my viewers decide to come by and see this piece. What should they expect to see?
I think they should expect to see a piece that is very compelling and very honest in its storytelling, something that is very present, and I hope that it's something that will open people's eyes to what is going on around them, because I think sometimes when we are sort of in our own little bubbles, in our own little worlds, we aren't always very cognizant of what's going on around us. So I think this piece in particular sheds light on a lot of things that people aren't quite familiar with, or maybe aren't aware of, even though it's happening around them quite often.
Yeah. Well, I'm not an African American person, but basically I did feel the trauma. I felt the struggle. I heard the gunshots,
yes.
And I felt the death around me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I sort of think that is the point of what the playwright was trying to get at, was trying to make people not only see but also hear. You know, it's a regularity, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be something that is happening so much within the African American community, and also communities of brown people, people of color. Even though this speaks specifically to the African American community, but I think it happens quite a bit with just communities of color. So yeah.
Well, I also loved your acting because, again, it's very difficult to play a piece this intense, constantly from beginning to end. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I love the way you performed tonight.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I love Betty. I love doing the show, and I hope that as many people as possible, even people that aren't of color, will come out and see it and bear witness to it. And hopefully it'll be a call to action to something, and they'll want to go out and find ways that they can be just as much of an activist or a change goer in their own communities. Yeah.
Once again, loved your performance. I love the performance as a whole. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much, and thank you for going out to see us.
Gunshot Melody Part 1 will be playing at the Electric Lodge from July 6th to August 11th. For more information, go to www.roguemachinetheater.net.